So we're gonna start off with hi Audrey.
Hi.
What advice would you have to give to young couples on this Valentine's Day?
To not worry about the money that they're spending, more about the thoughtfulness that they're showing and the love.
Okay.
Don't sweat the small stuff. They fight over the smallest things, like who left the cupboard door open. Close the cupboard door and forget about it. And I'll be married 54 years in June, and my husband has never left the house without kissing me goodbye. We've never had an argument. He's never raised his voice to me.
All right, well, that is great advice.
I'm a good cook, so I keep him happy too.
That's how you keep them around, huh?
Yeah.
Good.
Be honest with each other. Always be honest.
Always love each other, not argue and fuss.
I agree. You have any advice, Bean?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Be kind to one another.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I've been here around 16 years here at Bassett, so I've known you about that long.
Almost.
Hello, and welcome to Monday Morning Madness. I am Linda Neely.
And I'm Linda Orr.
We are happy to bring you the current announcements.
Rick Bruning will be entertaining us on keyboards and vocals tomorrow, Tuesday, March 12th at 1 p.m.
Are you ready for a challenge? Well, join in a 30-day challenge in the Fitness Challenge. Starting April 1st, come to the Fitness Center 12 times in the month of April and win a prize. Sign up by calling Sam at 724-452-3456 or by stopping in the Fitness Center.
Come enjoy a violin recital at 1 p.m. on Wednesday, March 13th in the Shoal Conference Center. Consider donating to the Daily Bread Ministry Project. There's only 1 week left. On Friday the 15th is our last day to collect men's razors, deodorant, and the tight-fitting boxer briefs. They look like this, only in large and extra large. If you prefer us to do the shopping for you, you can give a monetary donation to the receptionist at the front desk. Please see the Life and Times for more information.
Join us for the upcoming Aspire Wellness Trips. On March 16, the world goes round at Lincoln Park. On March 21st, a musical at Riverside. Remember to sign up with Brian in the Fitness Center for these trips.
And I believe that musical at Riverside is the Addams Family.
Oh, okay.
The Abundant Life Center's Men's Fellowship Ministry meets the second Friday of every month in the game room at 2:30. All are invited, so mark your calendar and plan to join in.
Do you have a neurological disorder like Parkinson's or MS, and also like horses? Volunteers are needed for a research study at Slippery Rock University. For more information, reach out to Brian in the Fitness Center at 724-452-3677. The gift shop is located in the Abundant Life Center and is open Monday through Friday from 10 till 4. All proceeds benefit the auxiliary fund. One of the beautiful things that I found at the gift shop is this scarf. There are many scarves that you can buy. So I thought I'd share this with you today.
Calling all bingo players. The Passavant Resident Association is sponsoring another bingo with all cash prizes on Monday, March 18th in the Shoal Conference Center. The doors will open at 1:45 and bingo will start promptly at 2:05. The cost is $15, which includes a 6-card sheet, drinks, and snacks. This bingo has limited seating and is first come, first serve. This bingo is for Passavant residents only, so plan to come and bring a friend from campus. I've been there. It's been a lot of fun. I won in January, and Linda was there. In February, she won. So come along and have some fun with us.
With sincere gratitude, Owen Miller and the Aspire Wellness team would like to thank the Passavant Auxiliary and the residents for the new Lumix S511 camera. Thank you.
Our Passavant community will be hosting a blood drive. We need 20 people to pledge to donate blood, so call Carol Flynn at 724-452-3630 to sign up. The tentative date is June 7th, 2024. That's a very important thing to donate blood, so if you can do it, please help.
The Lenten series, The Body of Christ, will be broadcast live each Wednesday at 1 p.m. from the Seaman Memorial Chapel through on Maundy, Thursday, March 28th. We pray you can join us in the service, Seaman Memorial Chapel, or from your easy chair on Channel 900.
Our Busy Hands group meets on Mondays from 1 to 2 in the Arts and Crafts Room in the Abundant Life Center, and from 3 to 4 in the Activities Room of New Haven Court. All are welcome to come and share their talents in crocheting and knitting. The completed projects are then donated to a variety of charities.
A Bible study and hymn sing with Pastor Frida and Jim Pfister every Thursday at 1:30 p.m. in Seaman Memorial Chapel.
Please consider donating to the Seaman Memorial Lutheran Church Lenten Food Drive, which runs through March 19th. There are food collection baskets in the Abundant Life Center, Luther Court, and Wittenberg Place. This food drive will benefit the Butler County Food Bank.
A palette knife acrylic painting class will be held on Mondays from 10 a.m. to noon, beginning March 18th. The class size is limited to 12 students. You can explore your artistic side under her guidance, enhancing your skills and nurturing creativity.
NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness of Butler County, hosts a family support group in the Beatitudes Room in the Abundant Life Center on the second Tuesday of every month at 5:30 p.m. This support group is for adult loved ones of people with mental health conditions. NAMI family support groups are free, confidential, and safe groups of families helping other families who live with mental health challenges.
Tune in to Channel 900 on Thursdays for Nourishing Your Spirit with Pastor Frida. This program will broadcast at 7 a.m., 9 a.m., noon, 6 p.m., and 10 p.m.
A Great Courses DVD series on the world religions focusing on Jewish traditions takes place on Mondays at 1 p.m. in the music room on the first floor of the Abundant Life Center.
Announcing the Tamburitzans who will be performing on Sunday, March 17th at 3 p.m. at Lincoln Junior Senior High School in Elwood City. Ticket prices are $30 for adults, reserved seating in advance, or $35 at the door. Student tickets are $20. There is no bus schedule for this event. The event is hosted by the Elwood City Rotary Club Scholarship Fund. Tickets can be purchased at the door by phone or online. Watch Channel 900 for the phone number and the website.
2 book clubs meet on the 4th Tuesday of each month in the Christ Mediator Prayer Room on the 2nd floor of the Abundant Life Center. For information or to join, call Carolyn at 724-473-8279 for the 1:30 session, or call Elaine at 814-758-0110 for the 3 p.m. session. Books are provided by the Butler Library System. Currently, both sessions have openings, so if you like to read, come and join in.
Sunday services in Seaman Memorial Chapel on the 2nd floor of the Abundant Life Center take place at 10:30. If you are unable to attend the service in person, you can now watch the 10:30 Sunday worship services live on Channel 900.
Good Friday services will be held on March 29th. Watch Channel 900 and the Life and Times for updates.
The Gently You Shop is open on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., and it is a great place to find secondhand jewelry, clothing, and home goods. Well, I just found this pin. It is vintage, along with these earrings, so it is a set. Also, I purchased this watch, and it is scarabs, and of course the watch, and it is also vintage. I thought you might like to know that.
The Passavant Community Auxiliary Annual Spring Capital Appeal will take place from March 1st to March 31st. The focus of this appeal is upgrading your campus security, improving our infrastructure, and upgrading our server. Our goal is $6,600, and they will match your gift up to $3,300. Watch for a letter in the mail with all the details.
Are you a Perry Mason or an Agatha Christie? Test your skills to find out who done it at the Mystery Theater on April 16th in Shoal Conference Center. More details will follow in the Life and Times.
Sign up for the Ohio Theater bus trip to see the musical production of Ruth, which will be held on Wednesday, June 26. The day trip will take place from 8:30 to 7:30 p.m. The cost is $120, which includes a buffet lunch, the show, and the bus, and all the gratuities. Look in your next Life and Times or pick up a flyer at the receptionist desk in the Abundant Life Center for information. If you're interested, don't wait. Hurry up and sign up. There's only 4 slots left. It'll be a wonderful day to share with the other residents here. After March 15th, we are going to open it up to staff, outsiders, friends, family, so get your name down on the list as soon as possible.
The Harmony Weavers will be here on Tuesday, March 26th at 1 p.m. in the Shoal Conference Center. They will be presenting a demonstration on weaving and spinning.
Gene Testa will bring his musical talents to share on April 1st in Seaman Memorial Chapel at 1 p.m. Dale Krasinski returns on Wednesday, April 10th at 1:30 with his music. All are welcome.
The Abundant Life Center Beauty Shop announces its days and hours of operation as following. On Mondays and Tuesdays, they do hair from 9:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. On Wednesdays, they do hair and nails from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. On Thursdays and Fridays, they do hair from 1 to 5 p.m. Please call 724-452-1602, extension 1602 for appointments.
And a reminder that the Barron's Inn will not be open for dinner service on Mondays until further notice. But the good news is that the bistro is now selling personal pan pizzas. We both had them, and they were delicious. Many thanks to all of you for watching this edition of Monday Morning Madness. We broadcast every Monday at 7 a.m., 9 a.m., noon, 6 p.m., and 10 p.m. You can also watch this broadcast at any time on your YouTube channel. Just search on the Aspire Wellness. We hope you find this broadcast to be a quick and convenient way to hear the announcements. This is the Two Lindas.
This is Linda Dealey.
And I'm Linda Orr.
Have a great week.
Unfortunately, Much of society is uncomfortable with death, talking about it, being around someone that's grieving. Think about it this way. How many ways are we able to say someone died without using the word died? We say passed on, went to be with God, so many others. Sometimes we're uncomfortable being around a person who is very emotional. Sometimes when we want to help and support someone who's grieving, we feel like we want to say something. And at times we end up saying something that is not helpful and actually could be hurtful. When we're grieving, sometimes we feel pressure from people to get over it. Stop crying. So often with our work, we get a couple of days off and then we're back, and sometimes our coworkers expect us to be back to normal. And we're not. Sometimes they put pressure on you. Boy, they didn't cry that much. Wonder if they really love them. Or they cried, oh my goodness, they were out of control crying. Sometimes people put pressure on us. Why are you going to the cemetery every day or every week or what have you? Or why don't you go more often? There's no right or wrong way to cope with that. Do what you need to do to get through your grief. Find someone that you can talk with who will listen and not judge and tell you to get over it. Don't be afraid to find support from grief support groups. There's one here on campus. There are many groups that want to help folks who are grieving. One of the hardest times after the death of a loved one are the holidays. And we miss our loved one even more during those times. During the holidays, we might miss our loved one even more. We have traditions, and sometimes we don't know what to do with those traditions, especially the first year that we're facing the holidays without our loved one. And sometimes it's better and more helpful to keep the traditions. And other times, it's better and more helpful to change the traditions. Again, do what you need to do. Be kind to yourself during this time. Try not to put so much pressure on yourself. Sometimes it might be, well, it's been a year, you should be over it by now. Not necessarily. Remember that grief is a normal, healthy, and necessary human experience. And you're better off to deal with those emotions as they come up instead of stuffing them. Because then it's going to be like a volcano exploding, is how I describe it. Sometimes we want to ignore or stuff our grief, and that's not healthy. The good news is that we are people of hope. There's a reading from the book of Romans that tells us that nothing, no thing will ever separate us from the love of God in Christ Jesus. Nothing that this world can throw at us, nothing that happens to us, not even death, can separate us from God's love. There's also scripture from the Gospel of John that Jesus is telling his disciples, do not let your hearts be troubled. Believe in God. Believe also in me. In my Father's house there are many rooms, and I go and prepare a place for you. And if I say, I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and will take you to myself, so that where I am, there you may be also. Thomas said to him, Lord, we don't know where you're going. How can we know the way? And Jesus said, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. That is our hope. That is our promise. We know that Jesus has prepared a place for us. And through the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus, sin and death have been defeated. They have been destroyed forever. We hold on to and cling to the promises of God to get us through all of life's ups and downs. Grief is not an easy journey. To experience the death of someone who was such an important part of our lives is some of the most difficult things we ever have to go through. But we are not alone. God is with us, beside us, holding us up when we may wonder how we can go on. And we know that one day we will be reunited with those we love in the presence of God. Peace and blessings.
I don't even have to say, like, I'll be right over here. So grab a microphone and make this quiet. Well, welcome and thank you for coming today. I apologize about the warmth in here. I think we had a generator test this morning, and every time that happens, like the air conditioner shuts off or something. But I did notice if you get too warm, you can walk out this door, and there's a pond right there you can jump in. They'll cool you off for a little bit until you come back in.
Without the water, right? This is.
All right, well, you did come here to hear my talk, so I'm going to introduce Carlos T. Kearns, Willow Creek Coins. Give his presentation, I'll let him talk about himself and all that good stuff. All right, well, thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks very much for your time this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And just a little bit about myself. I've been collecting coins since I was in high school. And so I didn't do that for my day job or my career. I was with the U.S. Market Breeding Service for several years. It's Director of International Trade for the state of New Jersey for several years. So international trade has been very much front and center what I've been doing for the last 14 years. I've been more involved in coin collecting side of my life, and I've been working in both appraisals and acquisitions since that time. And what I wanted to say a little bit about with respect to today, there, and a little bit about me. With respect to coin work, I've been a member for some years with the American Numismatic Association. I'm currently serving as special advisor to the president of the AAA, Tom Uron, who is from here in the Pittsburgh region. Member of the Pennsylvania Association, Nesbittist. Tom was elected last year as a New York Hispanic Club, and been a member of the Harrisonburg Coin Club since I was in high school. A little bit about what I've done. What brings me to my topic today was a exhibition that I curated last year on the work of Augustus St. Gaudens, which we're going to talk about today, and to coin the term of the arts of money. We curated the show at the National Arts Club in October of 2023, and it's something that we'll reference again today. So what I wanted to talk a little bit about is the presence of history in the minting mechanics, specifically how it then evolves into the coin design in the United States, specifically the work of Augustus St. Gaudens, and the interplay between St. Gaudens and President Theodore Roosevelt. who was very active in numismatics. Coins throughout history have conveyed various themes, whether it is conveying a sense of sovereignty, a sense of authority, a sense of faith, and these are the context of which coins have been communicating as a means of exchange for quite a number of years. Just a few examples. The tetradrachma on the left dates from about 550 BC, and it is Athena on the obverse and the Owl of Wisdom on the reverse. To the right is an aureus of Septimus Severus, the Roman Caesar, the Roman emperor, from the 200 AD range. Here is a sonnet of Constans II in Constantinople about 1150. Here is an example of 1592. This is a medal from Groningen in the Netherlands, describing, it was a victory medal, if you will, concerning the siege of Groningen by what at that point was the ruler of the Netherlands, which was the Spanish crown. And Groningen was very happy that they managed to hold out against the forces of the Spanish crown and declare themselves a victorious medal concerning the history of the siege. So you're seeing a story of again, whether it's power or authority or faith or politics, these themes resonate in coins throughout it, ever since their issuance. But notably, you can see the artwork that appears even from really earliest days of using these small discs to convey this message and to do so in an artistic fashion. Now, there's something interesting that happened with respect to the creation of the arts, creation of the currency and coins of the United States. By 1789, 1790, there was, both here and in France, an expression of wanting to use money not to express sovereignty, not to express authority, not to express faith, but going back to really ancient Greece, to the theme of libertas, of liberty. And here you see the first is a half dime, 1792. Liberty looks kind of frightened, but she soon then evolves through Robert Scott into the depiction of libertas that we see here. And it is a thing that was unique. France was doing the same thing at the same time. We did not decapitate our leaders. We were, okay to elect them democratically and to pass transition rather peacefully. And our French friends have since, loved liberté, égalité, fraternité. But at the time, I think who was really espousing some of the causes of the libertas was the United States. 70 years on, Lincoln would make reference to the nation conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. And we do have an example of the Libertas coin here for all of us to view at the end of the presentation. So, as the country develops, and we do have some very nice designs of coins, but the coinage of the United States for the first, for the most part, the first 100 years of its life, concern simply the evocation of libertas, the eagle of freedom, and the espousing in both the both peace leaves as well as the arrows of defense. But from the beginning of the 20th century, we now move as a country perhaps more mature and experiencing a renaissance of design in our coins. Several of these artists of this late 19th century and beginning of the 20th century are people that some are very common names. Victor David Brenner is on the penny that we carry to this day. Adolf Weinman, who was a student at St. Bob's, develops both the Standing Liberty half dollar and was called the Mercury dime, even though it's not Mercury. Herman Atkins McNeil, the creation of the Standing Liberty quarter, which we have an example, and Anthony DeFranceschi, who designed the peace dollar, commemorating the end of World War I. DeFranceschi was also a student of St. Gaudens, and evocates the use of the victory, we'll see later, in the design of this coin as an homage to St. Gaudens. And here we see on the left DeFranceschi's peace dollar, I'm sure you've all seen. Adolf Weinman's Walking Liberty half dollar, Herman Atkins McNeil's Standing Liberty, and was sort of misnamed the Mercury dime, and in fact is still Liberty, with just interesting interest. Now, something that all of these men and women had in common was the National Arts Club in New York, which had been founded by Congress at roughly the same time. All of these artists were either members or were honored by the National Arts Club in New York. So it's an interesting time where truly our artists are being sought out and commissioned to create the coins of the United States. And there's a National Arts Club on Gramercy Park in New York. That's 20th and Park. I have to make it a plug. I was elected there in 1996. Very fond of the place. President Theodore Roosevelt, probably more than any other U.S. president, certainly at that time, perhaps since, was very interested in the coinage of the country representing the aspirations of the country. And he specifically commissioned Augustus St. Gaudens to create designs for the largest coins then in circulation for our country, the $20 gold piece and the $10 gold piece. And Theodore Roosevelt and Augustus St. Gaudens. Interestingly enough, Teddy Roosevelt was born on 20th Street, about 3 blocks from the National Arts Club. Augustus St. Gaudens' father was a shoemaker and who sold shoes to the family of Theodore Roosevelt. So it was all sort of in the hood. Nobody in. Augustus St. Gaudens was born in Dublin of Irish and French heritage, but moved to New York early in his life and really considered himself a New Yorker and very proud American. Certainly representative of the Beaux-Arts movement in the United States in the latter half of the 19th century, beginning of the 20th, had to embody the ideals of the American Renaissance. The first of many commissions, first of all, he did study in Paris at the École des Beaux-Arts, and certainly had a great influence of French artists in his work, both medallic work and other medium of art. His first commission was a statue of Admiral David Farragut, a Civil War hero that appears to this day in Madison Square Park in New York. And here is Admiral Farragut. So this was about the first commission that Augustus St. Gaudens does. And he's known for this work. As a matter of fact, you can see an example of his work at Schenley Park. So he he does have work even right here that we can look at. Some of the more representative work that he's done that has been noted over the years, the statue of Diana that was on Madison Square Garden, the first iteration of Madison Square Garden. The statue of Lincoln in Lincoln Park in Chicago, widely viewed as perhaps one of the finest American statuary in the country. And the monument to General William Tecumseh Sherman in Central Park, which later will find its way into the design of the $20 gold piece. So Diana on the left, that's now at the Museum of the Philadelphia Museum of Art. The statue of Lincoln in Lincoln Park to this day. And to the right, we see William Tecumseh Sherman and the Angel of Victory, or heretofore the victory. This is the first representation of the work which we will see on this card. Roosevelt was very, again, representative of the aspirational nature of our country at the time. Mike Moran, a noted author on the work of St. Gaudens, records the words that Roosevelt used in his presidential campaign: "A republic ever brightened by the rays of the morning." The president looks. Didn't. Now, I think we're better. Sorry about that. The president engages St. Gaudens at diplomatic reception in 1905, and Roosevelt, I think, had already decided what he wanted. He just needed him to do the work. The next day, starts sending notes to St. Gaudens about how do we design these coins. He would like representatives of classical design and statuary to appear on the coins of our country, and to be it further emulate what he believed to be the mood of the nation and the spirit of the nation. And so we see from the Victory in Central Park to the $20 gold piece in high relief. And I have examples of both here. The high relief appears, as you can see, almost as a mountain. It takes incredible strikes in order to get a full design out of that coin, and that's what led the coin to need to be redesigned. You can see the Victory to the Victory, and the rays of the morning that Roosevelt writes about. Again, the coin is struck originally as if it were a metal. Roosevelt loves the design. He loves having this evocative piece representative of the country. But the chief engraver of the Mint had to convince him to tone it down because it was not able to be minted very efficiently at all. The dies kept breaking because they had to strike this coin so often in order to raise up the height devices of the relief. And so you can see it's still a beautiful coin, and I have a copy of the revised $20 gold piece that then gets released for circulation by later in 1907. While he was looking and working with St. Gaudens to talk about the design for the $20 gold piece, he was also very interested in the design for the $10 gold piece. And he asked St. Gaudens, first of all, to develop a medal for his inauguration as president. He, as you know, succeeded to the presidency when William McKinley sadly was assassinated, then ran in his own right, was elected. So when it saw what inaugural medal the Mint had made for him, He said no. So he went out to St. Gaudens and said, well, why don't you make me one? And so St. Gaudens then executes a design for this inaugural medal for Teddy Roosevelt. And so you see on top is Roosevelt's medal. It's a beautiful medal. It wasn't the official one, but that's the one he gave out. And you can see that the eagle, almost a complete transfer from the inaugural medal to the $10 gold piece. The other point that Roosevelt was very keen about was to have a Native American expression of our money. It had happened once before. In 1859, the Indian head penny was released. And so the first time that a Native American is expressed in our coin. But Roosevelt was very keen to have a Native American depicted on the coins of the round. That then succeeds also in the design of the Buffalo nickel. The $20 gold piece is generally considered to be perhaps the finest work that we have ever done with respect to United States coins. Again, subject to interpretation and design. The Walking Liberty half, I've always thought, was an extraordinary piece, and which we have a copy we can look at. Both pieces were minted between 1907 and 1933, when President Roosevelt asked us all to give them in. Many of us didn't, but we were asked that we had to bring them in because we were still on the gold standard, looking to stabilize our country a little bit. There was an exception where people were allowed to keep their gold coins if they were coin collectors. And so a whole army of coin collectors was instantly created in our country. And we're very grateful to them because that's why we can still collect them. So in fact, we were gifted at that time to have some incredible artists who were engaged by our political leadership to create the coinage of the country, and we really were able to get the best of our men and women artists who were able to work and design our coins. And so I think we're terrifically grateful that we had these men and their dedication to creating our national light. And I'll be here today and tomorrow if you have some coins that you're interested in add praise to it. Everything is starting with. I'm very happy to take a look at it. I'm also very happy to take questions. If anybody has any comments or questions concerning these coins, anybody else's coins. Which one, sir?
Yeah, put up the collecting of the one in his many coins, like the Centennial medal or any of those special medals that the Mint puts out. Are they worth collecting?
Okay, the question is about the U.S. Mint routinely restrikes and issues medals, which are beautiful work. There's some very substantial work going on. But with respect to the centennial or bicentennial medals, if the medals were struck in silver, there's certainly intrinsic value to them. Some of the medals were struck in gold as well, so that those medals will always have intrinsic value. But I think what the Mint is doing in that instance, or quite frankly, is trying to make their artwork available to as broad an audience as possible. So it's an idea more to express the art than something that could be considered to be of an investment quality.
Thank you.
Sir. Richard?
To one they have, they'll lead here for Carlos on the radio, we hear this ad pretty much all the time. The name of a radio station here, of course. And they're just discovered all of these particular coins, and you gotta hurry them in ordering and whatever. And doing it over some, it's just maybe not on the up and up, but are you committing with that kind of banana or that kind of a situation?
You know, I think, Richard, there's a little bit of caveat emptor there. They might have discovered it 20 minutes ago when they were creating the ad, but there have been times during the course of the last maybe 30 years where either the government itself in over 30 years now. In the 1970s, the government had quite a collection of silver dollars specifically for Carson City, which they released in packaging that were totally legitimate and were offered to anyone in the United States. They could, were up to 5 of them, and at the start of it was by lottery that you would draw on, that you could purchase one of these coins. More or less, since that time, since the 1970s, the Treasury pretty much finished selling off what silver dollars they still had. That was the last, really, of the government's stockpile. Occasionally, you will see collections of half dollars or dollars that have been in private hands for some time and are released. Okay? And that still happens, but in much smaller quantities and not very often. Those are generally well curated, well marketed through responsible dealers that do not use radio or television to advertise the coins that they are trying to sell. I would absolutely commend Numismatic News, Holy World. There are legitimate publications that come out every week or month. The Numismatist, which is a monthly publication, the American Numismatic Association. All of those have reference to literature on the subject, to larger collections that are being sold. We give you an indication of pricing. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm curious, what is it that you look for when you're appraising points? What are the parameters?
Okay, thank you. In making an acquisition, what I ask people to look for, please, are any coins minted in 1964 or before with respect to dimes, quarters, half dollars, dollars. Between 1965 and 1970, the Kennedy half dollar continued to be minted in silver, 40%. So, as a barometer, if you have 1964 and before, you have something of value. If you have Kennedy half dollars from 1965 to 1970, you have value. So those are normally what I ask people to perhaps segregate out if they're interested in selling their collection or have an idea that's in this way. Thanks. Why not? Him too. And it's a lady rep.
Is it true that penny has more copper in it and it's worth more than penny?
It is, and the United States government will allow you to melt it. And here's another one for you. There's more than a nickel in a nickel. Okay. And as is that we've been trying for a long time to figure out as a country, hey, we're losing money on the penny, we're losing money on the nickel, but we're just not able to move that yet. But all of our other countries have long since abandoned those penny level and nickel level coins for that reason. But the government's wise on us and passed legislation forbids us to melt. Weeks. Right here.
We've been talking about American coins,
What about European coins? My sister lived in Europe for like 10 years. I have her collection of stuff. Where would I go to find the value of that?
Okay. The question on European coins. Again, for the most part, you need to look about when that country was still using silver in the coinage of their country. A couple of parameters. Canada until 1967. Britain, 1947. Switzerland, 1962, 1963. So as a general barometer, if you're looking at material prior to those years, chances are at least some of them would be silver, and that's where you would derive your value. Okay. With respect to those coins that are copper nickel that were minted in countries where you might have worked, I routinely work with the young numismatists of the Pennsylvania Association of Numismatists and the Harrisburg Coin Club. And when I'm working with an estate that has a lot of those coins, what I do is donate them to the Young Numismatist program, because they serve a very important value in determining the history of a country. So there is value to them, not financially, not intrinsically, but historically. And so we're able to educate a lot of our young people as to the history of nations using these coins. I think
the other questions? What's the value, and if so, maybe it's almost about this, the value silver-wise of the Walking Liberty $half student?
Okay, so a basic barometer of the $half or the dime is roughly about 10 to 1 or so, depending on the fluctuation in the market. So, but there's two $half. Instead of $1, it's $10 or 10 dimes, 4 quarters. That's a general, good mark to start with in terms of that.
I did understand your words.
Okay, so if you have two $half, 1964 or before, 4 quarters or 10 dimes, for every dollar of face value that you have, I'd put a marker of 10 times that value. Okay, so the nice thing that when I'm working with folks is that if they have that, just remember that that came into your pocket for for $1, two $half or 4 quarters. So at any rate, I mean that's as a de minimis, and depending on where silver goes in the future, could be more.
What is the value of an ounce of silver today?
So, I could go to my handy CNBC. The silver, it tends in a trading range right now between, $20 to $22 an ounce. Okay. Gold has had a more substantial rise in the last year versus silver. So gold really is not dollar weighted, but in current terms is really at about an all-time high in terms of its daily trading range. Okay, so sort of a spotlighted history is 1980. Gold went to $800 an ounce in $1980. So if you do the math of inflation and so forth, that would actually equate to about $3,200 an ounce. 1980 was a pretty special year, as you know. And there was also an attempt to corner the silver market that year with Nelson's Bunker Hunt that saw silver go to $50 an ounce again, $50 in 2024 dollars, would be something outrageous, like $125 or $130 an ounce. Okay, so we might wait a long time till we test those highs, but it would be, for the moment, gold at over $2,000 an ounce. That's as high as it's ever gone in actual real-time value as it ever has. And so I'm reluctant to give advice, but if you're holding on to gold, now's not a bad time to let go of it. Okay, but just it. Any other questions? If not, and I'm here, please come forward and take a look at these coins and enjoy the art. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Carlos. One quick announcement. He's man, although it's on here today, these elections to take a look at. You all speak here tomorrow. We do have a sign-up sheet on that way clipboard. So if you're sitting on back tomorrow, please take the time to see Carlos, and we'll take between 10 and 12. Yeah, so we have different half-an-hour sign-up slots. So not already comes at once.
Please fun being here.